Obviously about winning and getting your supporters excited. Well, they would have been excited, Blue supporters, when Bryce Gibbs burst onto the scene with a little bit of magic. Didn't finish it, of course, but the intercept and the balk was terrific.
Just the poise of the youngest boy drafted in the draft last year. I mean, it's just an enormous amount of poise, and he's got a massive future. See a couple of errant kicks, but he's only a kid, and he's certainly going to mature in a great way for Carlton.
I guess that's the only upside of finishing on the bottom of the ladder. You get young men of this sort of calibre, fumble, but had enough intuitive skills to finish off with a goal. He's a gun, is young Murphy.
Young Murphy, and you had Gibbs and then obviously Walker from a couple of years beforehand. I mean, it's an interesting time. You put in Halpin and Waite in the key position posts, and I think it's an exciting time for the Blues.
We've spoken at length about the restructured Blues backline, but to me, the way that they're bringing the ball through the middle of the ground has been just as significant. They continually refuse to go wide and look inside for players that can bring the ball down so they can get Favola, I guess, able to go to either side. And I think when you get a shot from behind, it really does tell the story.
And that's for sure. I mean, once you're coming through the middle of the ground, it gives the leading forward two options. He can go left or go right, or he can just go to where the space is. And see, in this instance, Favola chose to go straight up. He'd missed the last shot on goal, but we know his great ability from outside 50 and slotted that one straight through.
Well, the handball had two options. It could have gone to Murphy to go wide, but in effect, he went to Lappin straight down the middle. The Kangaroos, well, they've also got their...
Kangaroos leading by 6 points at half-time of the NAB Cup semi-final, but everyone is still talking about the hands in the back rule. Brett Thornton penalised for this. 3 times in total he was pinged for the hands in the back during the first half. Gerald, I don't think anyone's going to be complaining about that one there, but there has been a frenzy of activity and opinion. You've taken calls on Sports Today on 3RW this week. You had Wayne Carey alongside. Are you satisfied with where we are at with the stricter interpretation of this rule?
Well, as you said, a very political. Jeff Southby, a great of Carlton and a great of the game, and Lee Matthews, a great, obviously. They've both jumped on board in support of the ruler. Look, I just think we've seen enough to say it's worth considering and worth continuing on with. I think that for every person that doesn't like it, there's another person that loves it. The common, one of the underlying tenes of football is that you play in front and you go the ball. Now, to me, there's always going to be the odd dicey one, but I think if you continue to pay the bloke making the play and going the ball, then you're not going to get into too much trouble.
Okay, one we saw at the tribunal this week was the issue of Michael Johnson of the Fremantle Dockers challenged his 4 weeks for this hit on Hansen. We saw in Darwin Matthew Stokes 4 weeks for his hit on Dominic Cassisi. We've got James Kelly, not reported on the night last night, potentially facing a similar charge as well. This is a case of the match review panel and the tribunal backing up Adrian Anderson over the summer.
They've got it absolutely right, I think, and I'm glad that they backed it up. If you've ever worked in a hospital, as I have, Clinton, with paraplegics and quadriplegics, you know that you're better off rubbing out 1 or 2 extra players for an extra couple of weeks and losing somebody with a severe injury like that. And the game's image, I think, certainly needs protecting. And I think that the AFL are absolutely spot on in backing up the Mark Williams push and many other people pushing for that to come in over the last decade.
Well, you talk about the game's image. Jeff Farmer received a 6-week ban for this. An eye gouge on Daniel Pratt. Was offered 4 weeks, challenged it, took it to the tribunal, got 6. What do you reckon the Fremantle Dockers are thinking?
Well, I think the Fremantle Dockers would be seething that he got the 6. They clearly thought that he could make a case, but they were the only ones who did, unfortunately for Jeff. There may not have been any malice intent there, but it was, for all intents and purposes, we could see that the hand was in the eye, and the tribunal were left with no room to move. I think most independent supporters would think the Dockers would have been better off copping the 4 weeks and having Jeff available after a month.
And the berth is up for grabs. Gold Coast Stadium at Carrara. Kangaroos 40, Carlton 34. If you're keeping score at home, the Lions with 32 goals have qualified for the final. The Kangaroos have 37 and Carlton 25. The team with the most goals in the lead-up matches host the grand final. So if the Kangaroos win, they will host. Carlton would need another 7 to tie the Lions, 8 to get past. Third quarter is go. McIntosh and the Kangaroos to the right. Cloak and the Blues to the left. Scotland with the clearance. A little bit riding on this for a pre-season game in March as Hartlett marks impressively beyond the 50. Favola waits top of the square. Now the kick goes to him, but he didn't really get off on the lead. His opponent, Ferrito, read it well. As Fev bumps into Gibson in the background. Lindsay Thomas with the mark.
Play on now. Play on.
Backed himself to get around Hartlett and does.
Well, the runner's going out to Ferrito saying fantastic. The runner should also go out to Favola as well.
Here's a chance for Wyman. Into the post, that's play on. And Carlton had numbers.
Yeah, Brendan Favola, he just didn't work hard enough when he was clearly not going to get the footy. And that's going to be how he's judged now. We know he's a great attacking player. We know he's a great forward, but he's now got to become the quintessential team man and do all of those other aspects.
Great use of the body by Cloak. He had the size advantage, did it well. This is Fisher. Support on the outer side. Stevens.
Hey, yo!
Carazzo leading into the pocket. Caught by Sansbury. And it's over for a boundary throw in front of a portion of this crowd of 7,228.
And Fev wasn't overly happy with the Nick Stevens pass going out wide. He wanted the pass up the middle to his lead. So just a bit down in the dumps, Fev, at the moment.
And to be fair to Fev, it should have gone to him, but it's the way how you react when you miss out is going to be more important.
Nick Stevens out of a pack. Kick across the face. Gibson. Neat little spin move. Got it on to Pratt. And the Kangaroos can work it out now through wide, although Eddie Betts gleefully accepts the prize. Scotland for Hartlett.
He's lucky that was about 16 metres.
It wasn't far. He's paid it as outside as well. But to be fair to Fev, I mean, what made the difference to him last year was his ability to second, third efforts. He was team orientated, and the byproduct of that, he actually kicked a lot of goals. So I mean, I think he knows the level he's got to be at.
20-year-old, formerly of West Adelaide, Adam Hartlett kicking to the goal square, and Petrie does keep it in. Now it's over for a throw-in. We'll check in at ground level with Liam Pickering.
Yeah, both half back lines are on top. You're looking at the bench for the start of this third quarter. Jared Waite well on top of Lee Brown, and Drew Petrie well on top of Lance Whitnell. So both those players starting on the bench for their respective sides.
Kangaroos by 6 points. Blues in attack. And Kudafiti's finding an opening and missing.
Missed a give off too, but just looking at the young kid Hartlett, he is a real finder. Didn't seen much of him before tonight, and he's been very impressive for the Blues.
He's taken, I think, 2 contested marks, and that's good effort for a young fella. Just waiting for the matchup down the other end of the ground as we get down there. Wait on Shannon Grant. Be a very interesting one.
Eddie Betts with the smother. Another 1%er from the diminutive Blue. Draws the applause from the Carlton fans, affecting a boundary throw in. Another look.
That is a good effort, and this is where Eddie Betts is dangerous, in these stoppages around the goal area.
Yeah, he's waiting around here, and that's a high one on Simpson. Advantage will not be paid. Ryan Jackson running away.
He wasn't able to take the possession of the ball, but laid a tackle, and I'm sure his coach is very happy with that input into the game.
Frito long to the wing, but it's a 1-on-2. Houlihan for Thornton. Has support, uses Houlihan again. Gets around Thomas, sold a dummy on Archer, delivers to Betts. Houlihan kept on running. Betts thought about him. Still thinking about him. Whitnell there as well. Lance gets to the front, deflects it forward. Simpson in the way for the Kangaroos. Under a little bit of pressure here, the boys from Arden Street. Riggio does well. Got it to Ferrito. He'll go down the line, and it's a downfield free.
Nathan Thompson.
You heard the call from Michael Vozzo. No need for the bump. Thompson the free, attacking side of the wing.
Well, he can play on because Satana has jumped back.
Goes for Jess Sinclair.
He's been an important player, Jess Sinclair, in the Kangaroos match all night.
And this is Lindsay Thomas.
Come here, please. Thank you.
Right on the edge of his range. Liam, a move for the Blues.
Yeah, Favola off for Carlton and Lance Whitnell back on the ground. Not sure, I was looking to see whether he'd actually get a message from the coach for not chasing out of the back line, but it might just be a rotation. He's pretty warm down here at ground level.
Lindsay Thomas was Port Adelaide's most improved player in the SANFL last year, drafted 53rd in the national draft by the Kangaroos, and from right on the 50 gives it a ride. Have a look at that. Great goal, his second.
Was a great goal. He's had the 7 kicks now for his 2 goals straight. Very impressive NAB Cup. And I think he might spend a bit of time on the ground in first grade football this year.
Well, he's been likened to Daniel Pearce over in South Australia, and that's a pretty high recommendation.
They'd be very happy with that outcome. Very exciting player, Pearce.
Talking it up as well, Lindsay Thomas. Plying his trade on the big stage. And the Kangaroos, with the last 4 goals, bracketing half-time, now lead by 11 points.
And Kudafiti's into the midfield. Remember the days when he used to dominate in there.
Yeah, he was one of the all-timers there for a period of time. And the Kangaroos at each bounce are now just playing without a half-forward line, just leaving that space completely open.
Riggio provides support for Simpson. Goes long, leading out Thompson, wins the free, advantage is paid.
Oh, he's a gun.
And Wyman with the electrifying finish. The Kangaroos in a flash extend to a 17-point lead. Feelings running a little high out there as well. Now that talk is with Cameron Cloak on the free kick, as you have a look at it again. The free there to Thompson for that, and Wyman, well, boldly playing on with the advantage and getting the perfect finish to extend the Kangaroo lead.
Clean hands. I mean, the punch wasn't exactly soft. It was just enormous, the speed he hit that ball.
Danger signs right now, danger time in the match, because the Kangaroos have lifted hard after a slow start, and the question now is being thrown out to Carlton. There's a free kick, and they're getting a little bit sloppy up in that forward and that back line where it was their strength in the first quarter.
Frustrated though, Halpin.
Thompson from 55. Archer!
Back in leader now, it's 50.
Now what is the 289-game veteran plus now 36 pre-season game veteran going to do here?
He'll give the illusion he wants to give it off, but he's too experienced for that. He'll take a couple of steps to his right and snap it around on the right boot.
He's already got one tonight. Perhaps a new role in mind. Forward goal sneak. Glenn Archer. Kangaroos have got the last 6.
And now they really are just dominating the match. I thought just prior to half-time it was more fortuitous than anything else, but right now this is just complete domination. The Blues have broken down up forward, and through the middle of the ground the Kangaroos are playing direct and pretty good football.
Six unanswered goals by the Kangaroos, opening up a sizable advantage. How will this young Carlton team respond? Betts feeding Stevens, driving it inside 50 for Voller. It peeled away. Gibson was waiting and lurking and kicking to McIntosh. He's got the runners of Petrie and Simpson, but stealing it was Murphy. He's tied up. The umpire has slipped.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I didn't see it come in.
And he's called for a bounce.
And Liam, with Favola going onto the ground, they've brought Ferrito back on as well, the Kangaroos.
Well, he's his shadow tonight, Jared. You can really tell at ground level the intensity of the Kangaroos around the contest. They really are hunting the footy at the moment, and Carlton at the moment haven't got the answers.
Look at this wave of players running out of the back half of the Kangaroos. Fluent ball movement. Thomas the mark. Runs 10 metres. Kicks inside 50. It's Archer again. Can he get his third? He'd be loving it tonight, wouldn't he? It's vintage Glenn Archer.
That is super play from Glenn Archer. It was actually a lack of communication from the Carlton defenders. O'Halpin had swapped opponents and was on Archer, but in the end just lost contact. Thompson went back to Thompson, and Archer was free. So just his awareness. We've seen his attack on the ball already in this NAB Cup, but his skill just comes to the fore here.
And how many times has he done that? Not for a while. Better make that the last 7 goals now for the Kangaroos. They were down by 11 points, 22 minutes into the second term. And now 29 to the good. Simpson for Pratt. Who will stand up for the Blues? Maybe the #1 draft picks collaborating there. Gibbs to Murphy. Koutafidis with a pickup. You called for it, Lynchy. There it is. Hartlett for Carazzo. Caught high.
Well done. Get back off the mark. Find a loose player forward.
And he's got one. He got it on quick enough for Simpson to take the mark.
That was well done. Good composure. You could see the player free, but had to push back off the mark to give him space and momentum to kick the ball forward. And the Carlton team need a conversion here just to stop the rot of 7 straight goals to the Kangas.
Great improvement from Cade Simpson last year. Was 4th in the best and fairest. 22-year-old, originally out of Emerald, and missing to the near side there when his team needed a goal. Liam Pickering.
This is the third quarter last week is when the Kangaroos really ramped it up against the Fremantle Dockers and probably got themselves that match-winning lead in the third quarter, and Fremantle in the end weren't able to close.
Going to find out a bit about where the Blues are, I think, in the next quarter and a half, because 7 unanswered goals is a worrying sign.
Trotter. Carlton with numbers. Walker with courage. He perhaps heard the hooves of Archer closing fast. A scary proposition. O'Halpin in the Murphy direction. Oh! Not paid. Unlucky, the young man. Crowd a little restless as well. Umps letting them play now. Eventually a bounce short.
Let that go.
Yeah.
He did just seem to mark the ball, Murphy, but probably the option may have been just a punch to a teammate who was down the front, but he has taken it all the way to the ground, you would have thought.
Carlton goalless here in the third. Koutafidis feeding Gibbs. Archer's the back. Delivers to Favola on the lead. Ferrito affects the spoil. Eddie Betts goes to ground. Play on is the call. Ferrito for Petrie. Closing fast was Gibbs. The kick to Brown. Awkward bounce. Trapped it nicely. Drew the defence. Feeds Swallow. Gets it on. Trotter running. Has support. Crosses midfield. Kicks to centre half forward. Was it a push? Yes. Thompson the free.
And a 9-pointer chance here. He's got the ability to carry the distance.
You pushed him under the fly.
And Satanta, that's 3 free kicks in a row. And he's had a very good game at full-back on Thompson, but just starting to lose touch now.
I think what Satana is, he just needs clarifying.
Yeah.
He thinks you can push out with your forearm. You're allowed to hold with your forearm, but you can't push with anything.
And Thompson, will he make him pay? He will.
Hurts.
The Kangaroos are on fire on the coast. The margin is 34.
Yeah, I think Satana just needs to have that clarified. He would have been told about forearms and bodies, but you're not allowed to push with anything. But if you want to hold your ground, you can hold it with your hip or your forearm. And therefore, he is still thinking he's in the right. And he needs it explained.
Probably needs to explain. There wasn't a lot in it.
Wasn't much.
And the kick just carried from Thompson. So you would not have paid that, Lynchy?
Well, I mean, the current climate, everyone's about pushing the back. There wasn't a lot in it, even though he used his forearm. I mean, Thompson knows the situation. He little duck forward.
It was half a dive as much as it was a push, wasn't it?
Exactly, and made the most of it. And if you can get away with it, fair enough, I suppose.
Now, discussion, Michael Vozzo in the goal square with the goal umpire. They are going to make this a super goal, are they? So the goal has been disallowed, and now it will be a super goal. A review of the videotape has obviously transpired. The free kick deemed to have been beyond the 50-metre line, and the margin will become 37 points. Money for nothing.
Dennis Pagan's going to be very interested in the performance of a lot of the Carlton youngsters and senior players, for that matter, in the next 10 minutes of this game.
The margin is 37 now. Carlton get the clearance. This is Simpson. Stevens. Short to half forward. In fact, Stevens on the end of it now. The initial kick coming from Whitnell across the face for Vola. Farito. Riggio drawing defence. Had to be creative. Gets it away, and it's over for a boundary throw-in. What a quarter by the Kangaroos.
Well, you'd reckon that Brendan Favola's the best option for them now. He can kick them from outside 50. And if they can get the ball in his hands, then they're a chance.
Bentic gets it from Whitnell. Caught. A throw, Carlton free kick.
That was Favola was involved in the contest then. Didn't show a lot of chase, and probably a bit fortunate that there was a throwing the ball decision, so we have a shot on goal. And this is just what he probably needs. Fortunate break, has to convert, get the spirits up, and make sure that Carlton have a viable option at full forward over the next quarter.
I think they're trying to give it to Adam Bentic.
Max, go back over here, we'll sort it out.
I think Adam Bentic could be walking away. Fev says it's mine.
Okay, Brendan, your kick, thank you.
So Favola gets the kick. He's already kicked 3 goals.
He was banging on. I'll come in and ask Grundy. Grundy confirmed it. Is that okay? Thank you.
Very
Just
polite.
trying to get it right.
Ray Chamberlain. One of the quick draws of the AFL umpiring ranks. And does a great job. Favola for number 4. His team needs it, and Fev delivers.
Well, he's the man. Brendan Favola is probably the only bloke on this park that can get the Blues back into it. He has to have a stellar 4 or 5 minutes, or maybe even 20 minutes if the Blues are to recapture some semblance of an opportunity.
It was Bentic who got that hand pass out, and Favola was indeed the man putting the tackle on. Good umpiring. Don't know what the Kangaroos were claiming.
Well, Ray got it right.
Hey, he's never wrong. Margin trimmed to 31. We have ended the time on period of the third term. Still more than 7 minutes to go. Blues are getting the clearances here. Scotland going long. Can the Fev get it again? Oh, yes, he can! Brendan climbing into the Gold Coast night. Can line up for number 5.
And this is what it's all about for Big Fev. He showed it last year. He's got to get rid of all the remonstration out of his game. Just go the football, because he's a star. And when you see blokes pull marks down like that, that's what people come for.
And Big Red in front of him said, thanks for the knee in the back.
That's what captaincy's all about.
Good to give you a ride, partner. Wow, this could turn around in a hurry. Remember, the Dockers surged back at the Roos last week, but fell just short. Favola lining up for his 5th.
Spot on, Jared. That is exactly what you need from a key forward, to jump at the contest, and obviously the skill of this man. He can take those contested grabs, and it'll be very important for him to fire up in this last quarter. And if Favola, in conjunction with Eddie Betts, I think they can wreak havoc in the last stanza of this game.
That's a great mark.
Yeah, from any angle.
A ripper.
Well, that's got the smallish crowd of 7,228 involved. Back-to-back Favola goals, 25 in it. Carlton dominating the clearances. Here they go again. Ackland inside 50. Good mark coming out. Body on the line by Pratt.
Stay there. Lay on now.
Needed to hang on to that one. Now McIntosh is presented on the wing.
Stay there.
Brown working for him towards half forward. McIntosh kicking longer though.
Good effort by Lee Brown though. Just let the space, pushed up hard, let the space behind for Archer.
Waite draws the defence and then turns it over. Simpson giving it to Wyman, hitting the hot spot. Shannon Grant kicked 3 in the second quarter. Lappin, poise under pressure. Thornton now, good vision. Walker in the back pocket for Houlihan, for Waite. They're still under pressure.
just telegraphed it. Blokes are going to charge into these handballs. There's too many.
Eddie Betts in the right place at the right time. Houlihan now. Murphy is short. Takes it. Has Bentic running. He can go just about all the way. It's Adam Bentic taking off. Going short. It carries the journey. And Favola takes it. And then he runs into the defender. Looking to get a 50.
Just trying to milk that one for the little bit extra. But that's probably a softish goal from a free kick. Has got Favola's tail up, would you believe? And he's inspired. His teammates want to go to him because they know he's on fire. And he'll get the journey quite easily from here. It's not that hard a name, you wouldn't have thought.
For number 6. He's led the Carlton goal kicking for, what, the last 4 years now. This to really give them some momentum.
Gee, look at that.
That is a thumping bomb. Fev is on fire indeed. Number 6, including 3 in the last 4 minutes.
Well, this is just a classic coaching tape for Brendan Favola, and he really is the only bloke who can coach himself now. Have a look at this tape, Brendan, because the first 5 minutes was the worst I've seen you play for 12 months. You were worried about yourself. You weren't thinking team. You're in the leadership group. You came back, you sat on the pine, and now you're back as a superstar, and that was sensational.
A buzz around Gold Coast Stadium. Kangaroos trying to get a clearance, but Harris under siege. Oh, Lappin, was that high?
Too high! No,
Yes.
too high. Got him in the head.
Michael Vozzo came in from the side and made the right call as you have a look at the Roos bench. Liam.
Well, with the reason Carlton got back into... they started smashing him at the clearances. The Kangaroos resting 3 of their best clearance players in Wells, Harris and Simpson. They've come back on now, but they were off that period of time where Carlton started to dominate.
Yeah, Favola crashed the pack there. McIntosh the free.
Chase is down.
Simpson. Downfield free. Swallow. To centre half forward. Carlton numbers. Walker the spoil. Wells. Into the pocket. Thompson one out. Oh, Halpin. Well, happy to walk it out.
Good body work there by
Bringing it
Nathan
in 10,
Thompson.
boys.
Very,
10
very
metres.
close to taking
Come
off
inside.
a great mark. But the learning experiences that Satanta Halpin has got over the last 18 months, you just see the rapid improvement.
Lappin for Thornton. Carlton again get the clearance. This is Bauer. Well done. Walker now. Carlton have lifted for sure. 3.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Lappin centering ball. Gibbs. Quality pickup. Bentic has Scotland. Uses him. Now no one deep. So that's why Stevens has got to wait. And wait.
And
he'll
Jared's
just
pushed forward.
square it up. It went backwards. Cloak told to play on. Bobs away. Kangas with numbers. Pratt dropping that one. Won't matter. Roos can run it out.
The Blues got big numbers back. It's going to be very difficult to penetrate the forward 50.
And Harris turns it over with Houlihan mopping up.
Well, they're a bit lucky at the Blues because that kick of Cameron Cloakes was just the one you don't want. You've got to hold that possession. So they get another opportunity to bring it forward more cleanly.
Now Cloak likes to go quickly to Walker this time. Gibbs recovers well. Caught by Sainsbury. Good tackle. On the outer wing lookout. Bodies on the line. Wait initially. Scotland with the footy. Murphy. Oh, somehow prized it clear. And then the Kangaroos were equal to spoil. Coming up on 2 minutes to go. What takes off? The defender for Sainsbury. 19 points the Kangaroo lead. Gibson towards half forward. Wide ball for Grant. He'll be disappointed he did not hang on to that.
Because he'd done all the hard work off the ball. He'd pumped out a couple of leads and managed to drop his opponent. In the end, spelt what was a fairly easy chess mark.
And again, Carlton take it away with consummate ease. Houlihan to midfield, well-flighted ball. Waite's got it, goes quickly, space for the forwards to lead. The kick's a beauty to Fisher. Dean Laidley a little edgy now. This comfortable 37-point lead might be 13 if Fisher converts this off the weight pass.
Well, even at 19, they've had 2 good opportunities, one a Thompson mark, another one a Shannon Grant mark, to extend that lead, and probably would have been insurmountable. But this goes through. We've got a real game.
Consider it a real game, Jared. 13 points the difference.
And I think Jared Waite just has pushed forward Alistair, and he seems to have just given them that one little extra option up there where they needed it.
I'd be very tempted to leave Fev one out.
Yeah.
I think Ackland's deep at the moment. I'd give him plenty of space just to have more options. Brown's loose man defence for the Kangaroos, trying to stem the flow. And Lee Brown just sitting 35 metres out from goal, just to clog up the space.
Didn't have the footy.
Free kick, Kangaroos. Simpson looking for a runner.
In a nutshell, Alistair, the theory of rotations gets challenged because of what we've seen happen here today. They've taken their best 3 clearance players away when the game was almost over at 37 points in front.
Yeah.
Do you leave them on and kill the game and then rest them in the last quarter, or do you rest them now just in case they come back?
Well, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. It works every time from up here in the commentary box, I can assure you. But no, need to give the players a rest. The running demands on the midfielders these days are intense, and you do need to spell them whenever you can.
I guess the challenge is to get your B-grade takeaway players up to speed, and that's where the likes of Sydney and the West Coast have it over the rest of the competition. It's why they've won flags in the last 2 years.
Coming up on the final half minute of the 3rd quarter, Kangaroos, Riggio getting around Betts, delivering to centre half forward. Now,
Which Grant will lead out to the left.
looking, Sansbury going wide. It'll run out, clock will stop, frozen at 17 seconds.
Well, the Kangaroos stole a goal with a couple of seconds to go just before half-time. You can't drop your energy even with a minute to go.
Thompson in front. Straight to Stevens, caught high. And that should do us with the scoring for the 3rd quarter.
It's tough, but it's there.
It's tough,
Right on the mark.
but it's there.
Play on.
Stevens punches the handball wide, and we've reached 3-quarter time. Best you don't go anywhere for the next half an hour. Quarter remains at Gold Coast Stadium. Kangaroos hanging on, leading by 13 points.
Yeah, it was very much a quarter at 2 halves, and Dean Laidley would have been thrilled at halfway through that 3rd quarter. But then a massive change came over this game, Alistair, when Brendan Favola went on and just did what he does so often last year.
He certainly did. The clearances certainly came back in favour of Carlton late in that quarter, but I think the Kangaroos midfield, their clearances was just fantastic.
Favola with 6 goals to 3-quarter time. Dean Laidley has seen a 37-point lead evaporate. Who will prevail and play Brisbane in the grand final? Find out when we return for the finale.